So you're telling me that a guy with the kind of reputation and the kind of background that David Buss has in all of this, from gosh, going on like 50 years, suddenly because these haven't been replicated in the crisis of replicability, now he's going to write a book and say, well, now I've got a new idea.
Well, he changed his opinion on that because other new research came out. You made a video about David Buss. That's the video that I watched to do like basically research for our talk, because I'm a giant David Buss fan. Obviously, I've read all his books. It seems like you've read all his books. So you in the video you say, has Evo psychology sold out? I'm just, what do you mean by selling out? Like, what is selling out the red pill movement?
Okay. So the reason I did that video is because I see guys who are sort of like the rock stars of evolutionary psychology are becoming a little bit more concerned with public image than they are about actual research at this point. I don't think a lot of people realize that Dr. David Buss, when right about the time that he was just about, I think it might have been right after he published Men Behaving Badly, he was also working, and I don't know if it's come to fruition or not yet, but he was working on a dating site or working on some sort of dating program that he was putting his name to. I don't know who the women involved were, but if you just go and do a Google search of Dr. David Buss dating, there's a title to it. It's still there, and they were taking like pre-orders for it, or they were taking. If you want to get involved here, we'll give you the pre-order emails, and it was as far back. I think it's like 3 years old, and nothing ever became of it. And I'm like, why is he putting his name on this? And you got like some big names like Alex Hormozy was putting his name on that, and some other people were, and nothing really came of it. Okay. I'm like, oh, why is it that why is he changing his tune as far as like ovulatory shift and the mate switching hypothesis? Well, here's my basic point is this is, how long does it take you to go through, I don't know, 8 years of college to get your master's degree, maybe get a doctorate in psychology? You could spend a lot of money and a lot of time in that. And then let's just say you want to be a clinical psychologist. And how much does it cost you to get a private practice, to get malpractice insurance, to do all the things that you have to do to become a quote unquote clinical psychologist, maybe write books, whatever. And then you have to also, in this day and age, have a blog, have an online presence, be in some way, visible, because the guys who are out there sort of giving this positivity, motivational hustle kind of thing, they're making in the time it took you to get your doctorate degree in clinical psychology, these guys have been making, in some cases, millions for a long time. And that's got to be something where you have to take into consideration that if I'm going to make some money, or I'm going to make an impact in this field, then I also have to be a quote unquote influencer. And so now you've got a guy like David Buss, and I hate to use the term, I love Godsod. Godsod is the only guy I would be starstruck by. I would really like to get him on Access Vegas. Godsod, Rob Henderson, Steve Stewart Williams. I guess I could throw Hector Garcia and Marty Hazelton in there as well. But you've got people who are genuine, like they've been in the field for 25, 30, in some cases, maybe even 50 years. Mm-hmm. And now they have to sort of get into this hustle. They have to get into the hustle economy. They have to get into the influencer economy to be relevant and to stay on top of their game. Now, why does a guy like Dr. David Buss have a dating program or go off and write books and go to podcast after podcast after podcast at 70 some odd years old? Why is that? What is it about him as a celeb Evo Psych guy? And what is he saying that's going to be more palatable to a larger audience? If you look at like Men Behaving Badly.
Are you saying that he's adapting his research to some influencer?
I think a lot of people are, and not just, I don't want to just point at Dr. David Buss, because it's more than just that. I think a lot of guys are doing that. You also have to understand that for the last like 15 or 18 years, there has been nothing but females in all branches of psychology, and you can go and find that on the APA if you'd like.
So I'm unclear here, like okay, there's the issue of having a dating site, which you could be saying, he's selling out because he's making money off of his research. But I mean, if the dating site is more towards, eHarmony, we're going to use science to get you matched. You're an 8, she's an 8, you're a 4, she's a 4. We're going to match you to have long-lasting relationships. And I'm not necessarily, I'm not against that. Like, that would be a good use of his research. So,
but he's also got to appeal to a larger audience as well. So who's he appealing? Just like it's kind of like, have you ever watched anything by Matt Hussey or even Mark Manson, for example?
So, but if he's adjusting the research, if he's playing with the numbers to appeal to that wider audience, I could see where that's selling out. Is that the accusation that you're making?
I would accusations one thing. I would say I'm looking at the, let's just say the tendencies and like the difference in the material that is in Men Behaving Badly is an entirely different animal than what he wrote when he was why women have sex, right? Or if you look at any of his prior work, the book, his most recent book, which I think was like 2 years ago.
Well, he changed his opinion on that because other new research came out. Like there was a literature that came out that showed women.
But what's the research, right? We're also talking about
the research is on why women have affairs.
Right. Okay. So, but we're also saying that here's one of the reasons that I sort of picked this apart is, as I said before, women's innate mating strategy versus when they're already mated. So he's going to talk about, well, mate switching strategy. Okay. I might even give him that. But if you're going to say this replaces the other one, that's where I'm going to draw the line, because
he doesn't say that in the book, though.
No, he has said that in several the interview.
The question is, like, what is the prevalence? Like, on average, what is happening? Obviously, we want to know if obviously there are so many affairs that take place each year that are initiated by women, right? We want to know how many of those affairs are this dual mating strategy and how many of these affairs are the woman fell in love and she's going for this mate switching strategy, right? That's what we want to know.
Well, if you look at, especially in that video that I did about this, he has an interview with Joe Rogan saying exactly that. Like, he has given up on the idea of ovulatory shift and all the stuff that he's was promoting for a very long time with Marty.
Given up because new evidence came to light, and he was forced to give up by the new evidence.
But he's also doesn't make the distinction of the fact that what happens prior to this. Like, what is the mating strategy? What he's trying to do too is apply the mate switching infidelity side of things to the overall mating strategy of women.
Is a dual mating strategy indispensable to red pill?
Wait. How does dual mating strategy operate before you're in a relationship? I don't understand that.
Dual mating, because it's alpha fucks, beta bucks. Before you're in a relationship, it's is he hot? Do I want to fuck him? Or is he boyfriend material? Or is he one night stand material? Is it cads versus dads? And there is robust research on this from as far back as the late 90s. If you go to Marty Hazelton's work, and suddenly right around 2018, 2015, 2018, that's when all this, we're going to do some meta studies and see if we can disprove this. And it's coming right at the same time where we're looking at the crisis of replicability. And I don't know if you're familiar with the crisis of replicability.
Right.
But it's like all of these very old, very well replicated experiments suddenly don't become replicable anymore in this new environment. And again, some people have said it's because of commercial interests. Some people have said it's because it's the woke, because there are too many women in these fields now. It just depends. But what you can't argue is the fact is that these well replicated studies now are unreplicated.
Right. But relating to these past studies.
So you're telling me that a guy with the kind of reputation and the kind of background that David Buss has in all of this, from going on like 50 years, suddenly, because these haven't been replicated in the crisis of replicability, now he's going to write a book and say, well, now I've got a new idea.
He's doing it to get laid.
There you go. But related to these past studies, and I'm sure you've looked into more than I have. I thought my understanding was that the past studies would show that both men and women, when they would interact with someone, if they're not in a relationship, and they interact with a potential mate, they would put in their mind something like, oh, this is someone that I might have sex with versus this is someone I might date long term. But that's different than suggesting that this is someone saying, oh, I might want to have this person's baby and then have someone else raise it.
Yeah,
those are two different concepts.
That's a giant.
You're mixing two concepts. It's proximate goals and ultimate goals. Okay. Proximate goals are this. I've been married to my wife for coming up on 27 years. But when I met her, the night that I met her, I didn't go, she'd be a great mom for my kids, and I really would like to reproduce with this.
Of course,
individual.
right?
No, I saw
but
that.
But you also didn't think you're going to pump and dump her, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like at that point.
Maybe you did.
No, seriously.
Mrs. Tomasi, I don't forget.
Know her. I don't know her. She doesn't know me. Wait, see, you're laughing from the benefit of 27 years,
of
right?
Course.
At that time, I don't know that. So I'm
looking. This is why you've been married for 27 years.
Wait,
it sounds like it was lust at first sight. So.
If you don't if you don't know that, then I don't understand how dual mating strategy plays in if it's undecided at the time.
Because you're mixing proximate cause with ultimate cause. Ultimate cause is reproduction. Okay, proximate causes. I really want to tap that ass.
Sure, right.
So those are two different things. So if the ultimate cause or the ultimate goal, let's just say, is marriage, family, monogamy, whatever, happily ever after, whatever the tradcon dream is, if that is the ultimate cause is beta buck side, well, what's the proximate cause? Well, maybe it's like, I really want to tap that ass. So you're mixing you're putting two of them, or putting one in one category and one in the other category.
Well, no, because to me, the argument that I said earlier, which is that women seek higher status males, and that's like the general drive. And so that can lead to situations where dual mating strategy manifests, right? To me, that makes sense in terms of a woman that's not dating someone, a woman that's dating someone, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm still troubling to understand how, if a woman is not in a relationship and she sees a guy and she's attracted to the guy, and as you're saying, she's not thinking necessarily in terms of, these long-term ultimate goal things. How the dual mating strategy is there. She's not thinking like, oh, this is a guy that I want to have sex with and then have someone else raise their child. Like, the fact that they don't have that should go against the dual mating strategy.
So here's the thing: is you're presuming that women have the presence of mind in the moment to go and say, I think I'm going to cuck this guy. That's not what happens right then and there. So, as I said, proximate goal is, well, I was drunk, he was cute, and one thing led to another. He was hot, and I wanted to fuck him. You also brought up the fact that the long-term relationship side of things. You got to remember, at that point and at that moment, it's not about I think I want to have babies with this guy. I want to have some sort of future with this guy. Is he hot or is he not? And that's a problem that a lot of evolutionary psychologists, not just David Buss, but like Dr. Jordan Peterson, name the guy, and all they think of is that the only thing that matters is the long term security. And that's how women make their decisions rationally and reasonably, and they don't. Right. That's why. Why do you think that 42% of babies are born out of wedlock today? That's why. Right. They were bad decisions. Why is it that women will fight tooth and nail to keep abortion safe and legal? Because it's a fail-safe against bad reproductive decisions.
Sure.
Because they're not thinking about, it's not that they're maliciously saying, malice and forethought, I wanted to make sure that I cuck this guy with this guy's baby. That's not what's happening. It's retroactive, if anything, because more women will have babies before, and they'll become single mothers and wonder why they can't get a guy to get on board with them and marry them. Well, the problem is that's retroactive cuckoldry is what it is. It's not proactive cuckoldry would be like, I'm married to this guy, another guy, and bring a baby into the thing. Yeah. It's retroactively happening. It's still cuckoldry.
But if all that's happening
before the point.
Right. But if all that's happening is that, you have men and women who are in a relationship and they're at a party, they're at some function away from their partner, they see someone who's attractive, they get horny and they have sex with them. Like, I don't see, why do we need a sort of a more complicated evolutionary theory to explain the behavior rather than just they got horny? The chemicals, when you get horny, you basically enter an altered state of mind that I would argue is more powerful than being drunk for a lot of people. And that leads them to do this behavior. I don't know if we need like an evolutionary theory, dual mating or whatever strategy to explain.
How is that not evolutionary? Like, this guy looks like somebody I want to breed with. This guy looks like somebody I want to fuck. They don't think.
No. What I'm saying is, like, obviously the process that makes someone horny is an evolved process. But I'm saying that's all, to me, that could just simply be all it is. That they look at the person, they get sexually excited by them, and that's it. It doesn't need something more complicated than that.
Yeah,
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.